Hey Moniz, hi.
Hi.
All right, so thanks a lot. I think, but the okay, hold on. Um okay, I think we are going to begin in a while. Uh, let's just wait for a few attendees to join in. While everybody joins in, why not let's talk about this topic and let me also begin a quick introduction. So for the benefit of everyone, we did the first webinar last week on overall how transactional data in e-commerce, online businesses can be very helpful for businesses to really sign up on AI, and tools like or the platforms like Detoin are on a mission to actually enable these small SMBs and small online businesses to adopt power of AI in their day-to-day business. So this is the second series, second webinar in this series, and the name of the series is "Leaving Money on the Table," because in absence of a lot of data points, we are likely to leave money on the table when there is a lot of money to be made. Does that make sense, Moniz?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Moniz is the CEO and founder at Detoin, and he has kind of dedicated and committed his life to doing wonders with data science. And one of the mission that he is running right now, in fact, the only mission that he is running with right now at Detoin is to make sure that the power of AI is handed over to the small and medium businesses in the space of online. And today the topic is how can we use personalized pricing uh, for the benefit of increasing profits of the business. And this could be any kind of online business. The whole idea is the pricing is something very dear and near to the buyers before they become the buyers, and therefore it has a larger role to play in the journey of a customer once they become the customer, and also when they are looking to renew their relationship with the businesses. And therefore this topic came up. We've been, as I always say, most of the topics, me, Moniz, we keep speaking about these when we meet in Bangalore or in Pune, and we always feel that they have a lot of essence and a lot of insights to be shared with the community around. And therefore this webinar, a few items, we will run for about 45 minutes precisely, and the last 15 minutes would be for questions and answers. Feel free to put questions during the webinar, and we will come back to it as and when we are hitting the last 15 minutes, or maybe in between if the question is relevant to the flow of the discussion. So, Moniz, we are good to begin. I would really ask the audience to tell us what is their name and where they are from, while you kind of, give us a bit of a starter on why personalized pricing, and why is it an important topic to talk about today.
Yeah.
Okay, Moniz. Yeah.
So see, traditionally, people have been working on price predictions, right? So
Mm.
a shopkeeper looking at the profile of a customer might kind of give a different price.
Right.
So it happens in car sales, right? You look at the customer's previous car, you look at customers' income group and other things, and you
Mm.
kind of on the fly come up with a
Mm.
price where they feel that this deal might close. So
Yeah.
so so it's not that predictive personalized pricing has not been there. It just
Yes.
it has not yet been adopted
Yeah.
for the new age businesses like
Yeah.
the e-commerce businesses, the people having products that they are selling online.
Correct.
So the essence of prediction is essentially, do we have information of a customer on based on which we can project a price point where there is a higher probability of conversion.
Right. Hmm.
So for example, Uber is using demand-based pricing, right? So
Right.
there are many bigger companies, bigger organizations that are applying predictive pricing. So why is this important? Why? How would it essentially help SMB, online SMB?
Yeah.
So there are
Right.
many ways of looking at it. So there are many dimensions that we can look at. So first thing that comes to our mind is that a customer coming on your website, browsing it, or looking for products might drop off. Do you want to
Yeah.
essentially kind of push a price where there's a higher probability of conversion? That's one
Yeah.
aspect. Then there are other tons of aspects where you can use this personalized predictive pricing. So for example, you may want to encourage loyal customers so that your repeat
Mm.
business increases, right?
Right.
So if your customers are loyal, you might want to give some discount on the product, so they understand this business knows us, and it's kind of rewarding our loyalty. So
Yeah.
that's another aspect of price prediction. Another thing would be what we call improve market penetration. So what that
Correct.
means, we want to acquire more customers, right? We
Mm.
want to kind of have more competitive prices, right?
Right.
Can we do predictions so that our market penetration increases? It's essentially got penetration pricing.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
another interesting way of looking at price prediction is you can push your slow moving products. People do
Right.
that. There are sales, right? In brick
Yeah.
and mortar businesses, there are sales.
Yes.
If you have a slow moving products, can you essentially give bigger
Moving.
discounts on them?
The
And
self replay. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and, uh, and then finally, it's similar to customer drop off. So for example, a customer is already with your business, has done business, but has higher probability of churning out, right?
Correct.
You can use price prediction for customer retention as well. In addition to
Makes
other
sense.
many other things to retain customers,
Makes sense.
providing a proper price points also helps you to retain your customers.
Yeah. That makes sense. Absolutely. So I think that is very. I think last time around we were speaking about how transactional data is straight away usable for something like an AI to make sense with the business, and we spoke about the customer churn in detail, and today we're talking about this whole personalized pricing model or topic. What triggers is there's a definite amount of profit to be made straight away, if not if not anything. I mean, there is of course an additional revenue, but considering your business model doesn't change as much, if the businesses are able to do a personalized pricing, that means they are commanding a consumer surplus which otherwise they were not in a position to command before, isn't it? So that's why I think that is the reason why there's a direct incremental profit to be made, and that is a kind of money left on the table. And that goes back to our discussion always, how businesses are kind of leaving money on the table just because humanly it is impossible to process so many factors of business data on the fly or at the real time.
Yep.
So I was just wondering, which are, in fact, I was just speaking with a friend of mine before walking into this session, and we were just discussing which are all the industries or which are all the verticals that are likely to use this, the whole benefit of a personalized pricing. And I was, it is a whole lot of a gamut. We ended up speaking for about 20 minutes just on this one topic because everything seems to have come online. You
Yep.
take an example of booking hotels online, or booking your weekly groceries online, or ordering your groceries online weekly, or maybe booking a cab online. um, Anything that is practically possible today online can leverage the use of data in order to come up with personalized pricing and command a higher profit. I think that's the greater velocity of the capital for those online businesses who have picked up funding. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that sets the premise and the context of why this topic is so important. Let's quickly understand from your perspective, Monis. You've been dealing with data for quite a while, and you've been dealing with predictive nature of some of these key metrics like pricing. So, what, according to you, really differentiates predictive pricing from personalized pricing? Because most of us are very well aware of predictive pricing as a subject. In fact, that comes naturally in the maturity of the business as the business grows,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So can you qualify a little bit on personalized pricing, and what does it constitute, and anything around it? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. The keyword here is personalized, right?
Yeah.
So the conventional predictive pricing happens on the macro factors, right?
Mm.
So it can be a macro factor based on a group of people. It can be a macro factor based on demand.
Correct.
So for example, Uber uses the demand as its micro factor, right? Uh,
Mm.
it doesn't worry about the actual person who is booking the cab. Is it
Correct.
is it rewarding a loyal customers? If there's a surge price, but this customer is loyal, I may not
Correct.
want to kind of surge price that much, right? So
Yeah.
that's a differentiator. So what kind of data points are you looking at? Are you looking at data points at a micro level, or are you looking data points at a micro level? So macro and micro. So when it comes to personalized pricing, the key differentiator is that now we start looking at customer data itself.
Correct.
That's the customer behavior, right? What's the
Mm.
customer loyalty? How long has customer been with us, right? What's the income group? What's the location? And many other factors which are more personal to the customer,
Correct.
rather than
Mm.
the macro factors which are defined by a much larger population, right? Like
Right.
demand in certain area, right? It's faced by
Correct.
a bunch of people. So
Correct.
that's a key differentiator. How do you look at this data? Which are the bigger pieces in your data? Which are the macro factors, and which are the ones which are more closer to the customer?
Correct. Mm. Mm. I understand. Right. So essentially, what you're saying is personalizing a predictive price. A predictive price. You took a very good example, Uber. Uber, I believe, is possibly the first manifestation, the real world manifestation of a pricing that is dependent on demand and supply in real time,
Absolutely,
isn't
it's
it?
more of online world manifestation. I think
Exactly.
on brick and mortar we are doing much more better personalized predictive pricing.
Exactly, right. So, but taking that one step ahead, if I can associate the micro factors of attributes and the behavioral aspects of a customer with the pricing, then my chances of my price speaks for itself in that entire transaction, because in online there's no sales agent who is actually creating a case for itself. So you see a price and that's about it. Now, how can your price speak for itself and make you judge it in your favor? If it is personalized, if you can identify some of those behavioral aspects of the customer, and then if it suits the customer's, what customer is looking for. Yes, Monish.
So the decision of purchasing as of now happens online, right? You look at the pricing on a particular website, then you go to the competitor, right? It's just a
Correct.
simple match. Which one is selling
Yes.
less, right?
Yeah.
Is vendor A selling it at X point, and vendor B might be selling it at
Correct.
Y point, right? That's the
Correct.
only decision we are making right now.
Makes
So
sense. Yeah.
this personalized pricing can give you that last mile advantage, right? When you push uh, a discount, let's say a discount,
Correct.
it doesn't need to be a huge discount. It can be just enough discount that will beat your competitor.
That's right. That's right. I think so. Yeah, I mean, you cannot keep looking for the bottom, because that means you're leaving a lot of money on the table just in the search of customers' business, right? So that's an interesting point, because that can take us to another corollary of this. While predictive pricing is kind of looking for price that possibly provides the irresistible option to the
Yes.
customer, and that could possibly mean the lowest available option on the block, right? But lowest price has not generated the loyalty, and the entire e-commerce world is actually witness to this, that none of these online platforms have been able to generate any sort of loyalty with the
Correct.
lowest predicted prices. And there, I think there again, the personalized prices make a lot of difference, because a personalized price is more to do with what is the share of my wallet as a customer I am willing to offer it to you, because I see I'm going to get more value than what I have paid for, right?
Absolutely.
So idea is try and come up to the level of expectation that the customer has from the thing that they are trying to purchase from it in return, right?
It's an interesting point, the relationship, right? So
Yeah.
if we want to buy a product, right, in the conventional world, uh, uh, we used to go the to a shop whom we are more familiar with, right?
Yeah.
So it's matter of the relationship. If we can
Yes.
essentially create the sense, right? If I'm
Yes.
coming here and they know me
Yes.
better, right? And they
Yes.
are going to give me the right price point, right? That's
Yes.
going to be a killer for close to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, what you're saying, I can remember some of these sales hacks from the on-field, right, wherein people end up saying these things. Oh, you know what, Munis? For you, I'll give you an 18.5% of discount.
Absolutely, absolutely. They are trying to personalize it, right?
Very personalized. So, so now I can't generate this tone of voice, and I can't generate this whole intimacy while I am online. And
Absolutely.
that's where data plays a critical role. And that brings me to my next question, Monis, which is specifically in your domain. So what are these data points which are necessary and sufficient for an online business to come up with a personalized pricing, minus all the noise that AI is difficult, I cannot go to personalized pricing, I can't have a recommendation, and all of those things, all those overwhelming reasons? If I have to just get out of those overwhelming reasons and just understand what are the basic data points that can help me get a
Yeah,
personalized.
absolutely. This is something that I have been working on for many problems, right? Given a problem, how do you look at the data and what is the relevant data for that problem? And it's
Right.
always the simplest data. So it's never the fancy data, it's never the exotic data. I don't want to kind of understand right the whole kind of complexity of how world is working, right? I just
Correct.
I have the data
Correct.
which I have been capturing. And another important piece is that which I keep on telling with these modern businesses, right? Modern online businesses, they they have tools that capture a lot of data already, right?
Correct.
It's not that you have to build those tools. There are already tools with few clicks. You can enable a tool which can capture data for you. So coming
Yeah.
back to data points. So first thing I keep on telling people that what is how do you see your business, right? What is important for you, right? I'll give you an example. So
Hmm.
in pricing, what are the major factors, right? Let's say we are in a brick and mortar business, and there's a negotiation in the shop going on, right? What is that
Correct.
I will look at, right, when customer walks in, right?
Right.
Let's say I'm selling cars, right?
Yeah.
I would like to know which car has he already bought. Right, this is a very personal
Right.
data, right?
Yes.
I'll also try to figure out what might be the income group of this person, right?
Exactly.
Can I essentially quote a higher price or maybe lesser
Yeah.
price for that, right? And then other things, right? The regular things, the gender, the locality that person is coming from, right? And many
Hmm.
other things that I would consider. So what I will do is I'll share a small spreadsheet with you, where
Yeah.
we can actually discuss various aspects of this pricing,
Hmm.
personalized pricing. So
Awesome. Okay.
as I already mentioned that what is different in personal pricing is the incorporation of, let me know, everyone please let me know if you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I can see it. Yes,
Yeah, so the
I
idea
think
is,
people are able to see it as well. Yeah.
so so the idea is, how do we the question was, how do we differentiate the conventional predictive pricing from the personalized pricing? So I have
Yeah.
created a very simple sheet, which will serve as a guide. It is not the exact data points, but it will share as a it will kind of serve as a guide to people who can look at their business and see what are those data points that we can capture. Say,
Yeah.
say for example, I have two things here, right? Product and customer profile.
Hmm.
So conventional predictive pricing would essentially use this data, the product data essentially, right?
Right.
Historical pricing, what is the demand of the product, what is the current stock of the product, what is so one interesting thing, right? What is the interest in the product, right? This again goes to that dynamic pricing, right? You want to kind of throw a price instantaneously when the customer is actually browsing your app or website. So
Correct.
what is the current traffic for this product? So that means
Correct.
it inherently tells you what's the current demand of this product, what's the immediate demand
Correct.
for the product, right?
Correct.
Another thing is, how is this product moving? Is it a slow moving product? So you can define what do you mean by slow moving product in your business, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
example, if it is let's say people selling perishable products or people selling electronics, right?
Hmm.
Movement is very important, right? We want to
Right.
understand how your products are moving.
Correct. Hmm.
Then the usual suspect like cost and the price. Then
Hmm.
another factor that you should capture is the profitability.
Right.
It
Right.
will, it will give you leverage on the discounts, right? So if
Hmm.
it's a highly profitable product, you might want to kind of negotiate better, right?
Yes.
You may throw in a bigger discount, right? It gives you a
Right.
window where your discounting window can be much larger. And
Right.
then with the product, you can add a lot of other information, right? It can be, let's say, how many drop-offs have happened on your product cart, right? Or it can be how many times has this product been viewed by everybody
Correct.
historically. And
Hmm.
there are tons of small data points that you can add into it.
Right.
Then, then the personalized part. This is the very important part. Now, how do
Yeah.
we understand a customer? And uh, based on that understanding of profile of customer and the behavior of customer, can we basically judge a price or judge a discount? So essentially, I have captured few data points again to simplify this.
Hmm.
So one important thing these days is whether you are using app or a browser.
Right. Right.
App
Absolutely.
app is more closer and intimate,
More intimate.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to use that information.
Correct.
Is the customer already member or not? So this
Hmm.
is it, as the user created account, is he logged in user, right? uh,
Right.
or has he just arrived,
Correct.
right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
then we go into relationship aspects, right? What is the
Right.
relationship with customer? How long has this customer been kind of been with us? When has he last signed up,
Right.
right? this is a
Right.
this is a very simple way of defining the relationship with the customer, right? uh,
Yeah.
Another aspect of that thing is that how many purchases has this customer done, right?
Correct.
If you are regular to a shop, you expect better treatment from from the owner, right?
True.
So
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
what's the total amount of business, total sale you have done, this customer has done with us,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right. Again, going back to this, what kind of devices? Now we are trying to profile a customer. If it's an iPhone user or maybe Android user, or it's from the desktop. Again, this can be useful. See, we are not making judgments. We go to the historical data. That
Correct.
will
Absolutely.
these data points and give us, okay, this works, this doesn't work, right?
Right. Hmm.
Then there are usual suspects like gender, location, and there can be many other points in the profile. Uh, how much time? What is the current session? How much time has this customer essentially spent on the app as of now?
Correct.
Is he
Correct.
exploring? What is the current state of mind? Right? If he has spent
Yeah.
more time, that there's a higher probability that
Correct.
something might
Hmm.
work. Right?
Right.
So this is more or less a small view of
Yeah.
the data I have created. Now, question is,
Mhm.
where will this data come from? This data will essentially come from your transactional data. This data
Correct.
will come from your analytics tools that you're using, right?
Mm.
Be it Google, Mixpanel, and many
Correct.
other tools that you're using, right? So this data doesn't come from anywhere else.
Right.
Right? This data is with you, right? All the modern businesses hold
Right.
this data, and this data is a gold mine, right? Now,
Absolutely.
you may be in uh, you may be in let's say hotel industry, right?
Right.
You can look at the demand from different point of view. It can be occupation, right? Many other things. Or if you are in e-commerce, you are selling organic products, right?
Right.
So there may be different data points, but you have to understand, how do you understand your product? How do
Yeah.
you understand demand of your product? And how do you
Yeah.
understand your customer? What are those behavioral points? What are those
Yeah.
relationship points that you can? Then what I have done on the right hand side, I have tried to kind of I have made it even simpler. This is very important in machine learning, because one problem with machine
Mm.
learning is that if data doesn't converge, that means if there's a sparsity in the data, uh,
Yeah.
uh, it might not learn well. That means if I am capturing demand, right?
Yeah.
It may be a number, but
Correct.
I would rather summarize it for
Right.
machines to learn patterns better. So what I'm saying VH means very high
Correct.
demand, medium demand, low demand. So this
Correct.
again few hacks that you can play with, right? You can say, okay, if this product is in last month I've sold n number of these products, it's in high demand, or
Got it.
or it's in low demand, right? These can be simple functions that you can apply in your data and generalize these things. These are
Right.
very important small hacks which
Yeah.
will essentially allow machine learning to derive patterns from your data and then give you a prediction which will suit
Correct.
for a particular problem. Yeah, so this is more or less a
Hmm.
view. It's a very simplified view. I'm sure it will get complicated. It will get complicated in number of data points. But
Yeah.
what I am trying to get it at, how do you look at data? And
Correct.
how do you arrive at these things? What are
Right.
the different aspects and dimensions that you look
Yeah.
at to come up with a
Essentially.
data
Yeah.
which will
Yeah.
essentially help you to predict your price better and in a very personalized fashion?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the way I see this data point, uh, is if I look at demand, stock, interest, product movement, profitability, price, app, whether they're using app or not, are they a member or not, what is their relationship? So time since last login, time since last log out, whatever. So all these data points are actually available with the online businesses in a more granular format. It's not a I wouldn't say it's a very exotic data set that is required in order to come up with something like a personalized pricing. So uh, I hear you in a certain way, that what you're saying is if you're able to see these simple data points in your data set,
Yes,
you're in a position to come up with your own personalized pricing. Is that right, Monish?
absolutely, absolutely.
That makes sense. I think this is what we spoke last time around as well, when we said how transactional data can be super useful in coming up with very simplified AI value creation areas. And this is one of the examples of it, that you simply have your own data and start using it, because the whole idea is your personalized pricing may not be like absolutely 100% accurate to start with, but it is better than a flat price. You might end up making more profits than you were making before. So
Absolutely. So
yeah,
it's going to help positively in most of the scenarios. So
yeah,
without a kind of building exotic machine learning algorithms or anything,
yes,
it's going to give you value immediately.
yes, yes.
And
I think yeah, yeah.
sorry,
Sorry, go.
let
Sorry,
me give
please
you
go.
the last one.
Yes.
This is one of the major hindrances that I have observed when I keep on talking to various businesses, right? Be it
Mm.
small businesses, enterprises, right? The view of the data is very convoluted and complex, right?
Right.
So, for example, in pricing, they want competitive price,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So why do you get competitor price? It's a very hard nut to crack, right? Would you get that in
Right.
real time? Right. I would say start with where you are, what you have, and get this ball rolling. Once the ball
Excellent.
gets rolling, you essentially get the idea how the things work. Idea is
Yeah.
to basically to get into this AI ML space, which
Correct.
enterprises are using, right? They have bigger teams to analyze it for you, right?
Correct.
You are
Correct.
controlling your business. Why don't you get this ball rolling? So this is my first
Yeah.
thing I keep on telling them. Get this
Yeah.
get this baby on the road and drive
Yeah.
it. You will understand it, right? And it's not going to harm
Totally.
you.
No, totally. And I think one is the inhibition about amount of data I need. Number two, inhibition is I will need to build exotic data models. In fact, some of the SMBs would use their technology skill set to come up with some of these, machine learning models and try it out themselves and get discouraged because, they don't feel the results are that well. So that is where I think some of this overwhelm comes in. Third is they possibly do not have resources in terms of time, money, and everything else in order to come up with a whole, full-fledged data science team. And that's where I believe somebody like Datoin comes into picture, right? Where you have a platform approach and you just bring in the data, try out the personalized pricing, see if it works for you, judge it for yourself, and check away and make some incremental profit on top of it,
So yeah,
right? Yeah,
so let me give you a quick pick, right?
yeah,
Of how we can do it on data. A very simple quick pick.
okay,
So let me share my screen again.
sure.
To get you started, essentially that is my kind of first. Give me a second. Okay. So let me know you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Yeah. So this is a quick peek. So you can this is our data in version 2.0. We are releasing it soon. The idea was to make it even simpler, faster. So the first thing you should one has to start with data. The data we talked about. Let's say this is data in store. You can think of this as a Google Drive or Dropbox, right? Where you can
Right,
quickly upload your data set. It can be a simple CSV file, right? So
right,
for example, I have already uploaded some data. You can see the sample of this data, right? It's similar kind of data that you just saw, right? Let's say this is your data set, historical data set, where you want to learn on. You uploaded this data. You don't need to worry about getting this data. You just make a small CSV file just to try it out, right? How things are going to work. So you upload your data. You can simply upload a data set, and that's all. I have uploaded already. You go to the App Store, and you
okay,
choose an app. You choose an app. You name your app.
okay,
Say XYZ price
got
for
it.
forecasting.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have other apps here as well. So you build your app,
Okay,
and
okay,
you choose your data set. All you need to do is you click here. You have a data browser already available. The data set you uploaded, that will be available here. You
I
choose.
see.
You want to predict price. There can be many kinds of prediction. You want to
Right,
predict price. You select your price prediction and done. There are
right,
other things that you will you will call price prediction model. There are many other things that you can essentially use later when you get used to it. So that's it. You run it. Now it will build model for you.
awesome.
So when your model is ready, this is going to take some time to run. Once your model is ready, it will be available like this, right? You feed in data into it,
Okay,
and you will get the results, right? So again,
got it.
you upload your data set, you choose your app from the App Store, you build your model from that data set, And once the
Okay.
model is ready, you can try it out. You can, so number of purchases 23, interest high, right? So
I see.
you can just try it out then and there, and you'll get the results. You will essentially get your price forecasting working.
I see. I
Now
see.
you may not like the results, right? Then you can go back to the app and start tweaking that.
Keep tweaking it. Yeah.
You can add more data points. These apps have multiple algorithms running behind them, right?
Right.
They'll given your data set, they will automatically
Uh-huh.
choose which is the best algorithm that will happen
I
for you.
see.
So it's a very simple: get your data set, choose the problem you are solving, and build a model and try it out. Once
Makes
you are
sense.
there, then you can use other features of connecting to your databases, connecting to your analytics stores, connecting to your many other.
Correct.
So you can basically do many things post
Mm.
once you solve this prediction problem. It's a separate problem you want to solve. After that, you can basically
Correct.
take it into production and see how your
How it
business.
performs actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's as simple as that. This can, if you have a right data set, this can happen in 1 hour.
Wow. So you're saying essentially in a matter of an hour, somebody can move from flat pricing to personalized pricing and try it out.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay, awesome. So we have time to take one question, and essentially the question is, can we come up with uh, can we come up with discount offers, rational discount offers for a set of customers using personalized pricing?
Okay, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
So can we come up with rational discount offers
Yeah.
using personalized pricing for a set of customers?
Absolutely. So the whole point of personalized pricing is go beyond the set of customers, right?
Exactly. It's
You
one to
can,
one in a way
yeah, you can have rationality at a customer level,
at a customer level. That's
right?
amazing. Okay.
So
Yeah.
idea as to how do you, what is that you want to achieve with this dynamic pricing? Do you want to improve customer loyalty? Do you want to avoid drop-offs? Do you want to push the slow-moving products? So there can be multiple things at work that you can. It can be mix of things as well.
Right.
You want
Correct.
to work on customer retention. Yes, this can go to to the exact customer level. If you have two customers that are at a risk of leaving, you can push price to only those two customers,
Makes sense. Yeah.
right?
Correct. So we'll take just one more question. It says, how can we integrate the personalized prices predicted from Datoin into our application or website?
So there are multiple ways. Once you build a model, you can essentially create a web service which your engineers can use in their applications. So it's a
Right.
simple web service you can just deploy. So if you can see my screen, all you need to is to deploy it.
Okay.
Again, so this will give you an endpoint. You take that endpoint and integrate with your system. It's hosted by Datoin only. So no intervention of coder at this place. Now you can give this to your engineer and he can start integrating the predictive pricing in your system. As I keep on telling that give me an engineer, I'll give you a data scientist back.
I see. Okay. So essentially what you're saying is Datoin as a platform empowers an engineer to turn into a data scientist and create value for the organization in terms of
With the help of,
quantifiable results.
with the help of business owner who will have this understanding
SME.
of data,
Yeah.
get that data prepared, feed it to data, build a model, experiment with it, try different data points. See, experimentation is really
Is the most important thing here. Yeah.
very important, and it's very cheap when you do it through data. The idea is that you tweak some data and you run it again. You tweak some data. You don't have to go through those larger cycles and try it out then and there only.
I understand. So I think amazing, Monish. This is very helpful, and I see how easy it is to do with a platform rather than getting overwhelmed about trying to get into the algorithm mode and building the whole model and everything, right? So I believe I believe I don't have any more questions, and most of the other questions that I see on the chat box are kind of answered. So with this, I would like to conclude the session. We in the series of leaving money on the table, there's one very important topic, and that is about forecasting the demand, right? So that you are well prepared to actually supply it accordingly and have an optimal sales model. And this is something that we keep hearing from a lot of online SMBs who are in the space of commerce, specifically e-commerce. So let's pick that up next week and talk about it. Is that good?
Absolutely. So demand forecasting has been one of the major problems I have been solving in enterprises.
In fact, the largest enterprises have been doing it for a while because they have the entire production planning machinery works on top of a demand forecasting, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So good. I think it's time to sign off, and let's catch up again next week, same time.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you. Bye.